C.C. Gashapon figure. Once again, this is from the series, anime series called Geass, character name C.C, released by Bandai back in July 2008. It is made out of PVC, and there's no sculptor or designer credited to these type of figures. And once again, it's a Gashapon, so it comes in a mystery box. You don't know which character you're gonna get until you actually open it. And apparently these are all made out of PVC, and I'm gonna do a review basically based on 5 categories. First category is design, which basically covers the concept and the pose. As you can see, this comes with the base, but the base is not necessary. She can be posed without it, and she's very stable. Wouldn't be a problem or an issue. As you know, this is the only figure I have in the series, but if you see all the other figures and in the line, they're all, this is basically, I guess, a swimsuit theme. So as you can see, she's in a swimsuit that you probably won't see in the anime, and of course she has a very seductive and sexy pose. And for me, just the way she's looking and the way the base is a half circle, just to be symmetrical, I would say, in my opinion, this would be the front. So, but at the same time, you can display it at many different angles as well. So you could, has a lot of versatility, as you can go pretty much, I would say even over 180 degrees. So very nice design. I do like it myself. It's, you know, that's why it's part of my personal collection. But I have decided to put this on sale and let go, make room for newer things, since I have too much as it is. So for this, the design, I give it a perfect 10 out of 10. Even without the base, I do like, even though the base is not necessary, I do like it because it just has a nice touch to it, very glossy. The hook can be taken off, obviously, but I think it just adds quality to it. But I've seen pictures where many people don't display it with the base, so I think that looks just as good too. Especially since the hook won't get in the way. So the design, I give it a perfect 10 out of 10. Next category is sculpting, which basically covers the molding or the details, at least the quality of the molding as well. And as you can see, starting from top to bottom, her hair very well detailed. At the same time, it's not over detailed, so definitely has a simplistic anime theme to it, although you can see the seam line where the hairpiece is attached, but the fact that it doesn't fit as perfectly well, and you can see some rough edges, especially right there behind the bangs. That's probably like a casting or molding issue. The cast might not have been perfectly cleaned, whatever the issue may be. It's very minor, because when you see from afar, you really can't tell as much, and it does look like part of the seam of the hair, but when you're looking up close, you can tell. And there are other rough edges right here on the left breast of the swimsuit. Edge gets a little bit rough. Everywhere else, very nice details. everything's pretty much smooth. Now there are these seam lines on her back of her legs. It's not too bad, but comparing, see, with the close-up, you can see like it's a bit rough. It's not like straight, it's a little bit curved, and there is a bit of a paint issue, which is the next category. And then when you look at the right leg, back of the right thigh, not much issues there, but good details on the ankles, the boots, or at least the rest of it, especially where it wrinkles up. Has a realistic effect. Fingers all the way to the fingernails tips. For something this small, very nicely detailed. And if I could just kind of give you a perception of how big this thing is. It's about 3.5 inches tall. So as you can see, when you look at the details on the finger, very nicely done for something so small. The butt, of course, very nicely sculpted. Everything's very well proportioned, and it is probably due to its pose and the way the hand is gripping the side hip would be, I guess they put a lot of attention to it, seeing how it's probably the focal point of this design and pose. So the sculpting is pretty much near perfect. I mean, there's very minor issues. You can see even here on the bottom of the foot, the edge is just not completely straight edged and smooth. So again, just a minor molding issue, but the hair, rest of the hair, very nicely done. So to me, it's near perfect, especially for this size. I mean, it's just very minor flaws. So for the sculpting, I give it a 9 out of 10. Next category is painting. Painting, as you can see, it's simple but very nicely done. There is the green isn't just green on her hair. You could see there is a fade. It gets darker near the end. Very nice touch to it. As you can see from afar away, you can see the effects a little bit more. Very nicely done. Does that even with here on the side of the bangs and everything, or I don't know what you call that, but let's see. Swimsuit, eyes, perfectly painted. Those are probably decaled. And then you could see all the seam lines pretty much matches everywhere perfectly. It doesn't really go over the border other than very minor areas. Right here, the left breast area right there where it gets a bit rough with the seams. The light gray kind of overlaps. You can see here the seam line where the leg is attached. You can see how you could see a bit of a skin tone color. Very, very subtle. Otherwise, everything's right on the dot, as shown before for the sculpting department. You can see a little bit of black paint that goes into the seam line. But other than those very minor flaws, it's pretty much near perfect. There really isn't any mistakes to it. or any issues. The paint quality is good, and then the accuracy of the colors are there. Even though she doesn't really wear this swimsuit, it matches her color and the deco of a regular costume. So the painting, other than those very minor flaws, like as I said, it's near perfect. So I give it a 9 out of 10 on the painting. Next category is value. On this, as I mentioned, it came out in 2008. Code Geass was fairly popular here in the United States, especially because it was on Adult Swim. And at the same time, there isn't much available for this in the aftermarket. In fact, there was none available when I checked to see if there were anything on sale on eBay or Amazon or so on. They did have some info on it on Amazon, but it did say sold out. So this one, due to its rarity, I very positive, value's high, and also CC is one of the more popular characters of the series, of the anime series Code Geass. So definitely the demand is up there, and for this particular one, especially because of the pose, the demand also is high on that. So unfortunately, I didn't see any prices that it was sold or what it's selling or listed on to compare, but from my experience, something like this with this rarity, and of course the condition is pretty much near mint, I would say I would say easily around $30. I would try to list it probably a little bit over 35, see if I can get, depending on who, I mean, if there's more than 2-3 people, all it takes is more than 2 people who wants this, I mean, it makes a difference. But for me, I personally, because it's one of my favorites in my Gashapon collection, I personally wouldn't let this go less than probably 25, maybe 20 is the lowest I would go personally. Otherwise, I would just keep it for myself. There's really no purpose of me selling this because the desire to keep is still there. It's just a matter of seeing if I can get the most out of it. So, but I have a feeling it could definitely go for around 25 to 30. So I put the value pretty high, especially since when this came out, this was around $7, which I bought at a local anime store. So for the value, I give the value score a high 10 out of 10. For something like this, could easily, I would say, sell for a pretty good price. So finally, the final category, overall, which basically accounts for all the 4 previous categories that I just mentioned and graded: design, sculpting, painting, and value. And for me, as I mentioned, this was part of my personal collection. I took definitely good care of it behind the glass case and everything, although it is time for me to kind of move on and make room. So that's one of my major reasons why I'm selling it. But of course, because I still like it a lot, I really wouldn't sell it for less than 20. And as you can see on the design, the sculpting, the painting, the quality of it is up there. I mean, it's just unique in itself, and at the same time, it's, you know, probably one of the most popular characters from Code Geass as well, because she's kind of like the mascot character, of course, other than Lelouch, who's basically the main character. So accounting for all that, I give the overall score a high 9 out of 10. So to recap, design 10 out of 10. Sculpting 9 out of 10. Painting 9 out of 10. Value 10 out of 10. And overall 9 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Until next time. I guess continue eating your vitamins, say your prayers.